Hey there, Steven. You're here on time, buddy. Yeah. Let's give it a minute for everybody to get in here, get logged in, get your drinks ready. All right. I hope you're ready for today's stream. I do love that opening music. That's so fun. It's so fun. So I hope that you boys are ready for today's stream, because today we're going to be talking about quite a topic. This one was specifically requested of me, and I'm not going to lie, it's a bit of a challenge because it's such a doozy of a topic, really. Today we're going to be teaching you how to make a girl fall in love with you. Sounds impossible, right? To try and teach this as a skill. Well, we're going to be testing out if I can actually do it or not. If I can manage this, then I am just the king, aren't I? But if you want to enjoy this to the absolute maximum, if you want to take this up to the tippy top level, if you would like to experience the height of all of humanity, the culmination of civilization itself, then you must find yourself something to drink. I have a Pilsner. And you can crack that bad boy open and lift your glasses high now and join me for the Cheers with Chaps. Cheers. Fantastic. God, I do love beer. It's unfortunate that it's so terrible for you, because beer is just wonderful. Absolutely love it. But what am I doing talking about silly things like beer when we have much more important topics to discuss? Like, for example, how to make a girl fall in love with you. So let's jump right into the topic. The very first thing we're going to be talking about, I don't know why I just set that down. The very first thing we're going to be talking about is interest, attraction, and entertainment. So the basic formula, the equation that you need to be thinking of whenever you are, oh, Coot, you're alive. You made it today. Cheers, buddy. I'm glad you're here. So the basic equation that you're going to be looking for is she enjoys her time with you more than any of the other competing interests. This is going to be the most basic thing that you're looking for. What's up, X2 Crow? How are you doing, man? You want her to enjoy her time with you more than all of her other options. This is the final goal. But we're going to talk about how to get there and how to make that happen. In order for her to fall in love with you, you need to be the best option in a lot of ways. You need to be more interesting than Instagram and doom scrolling. You need to be more attractive to her than other guys who are interested in her. You need to be more entertaining to her than any of her other entertainment options or time spending options. Let's go through these. The first one, interest. You need to be interesting to her. How can you do that? Well, there are a lot of different ways. The first, and probably the best way, is actually live an interesting life. Do cool things. Do fun stuff. Get outside of your comfort zone. Do things that you are afraid to do. Push your limits. Try stuff. Traveling, doing new sports, doing new activities. Try rock climbing. Try parasailing or something. Basically anything that would look great on Instagram or on a Tinder profile is because it's interesting. So those are the kinds of things that you can do to be an interesting person. Now, how do you keep that up for a long period of time whenever you are in a relationship of some kind? Well, like I said, you're doing interesting things all the time and you're bringing her along for it, because once you're in the relationship, you're going to be doing these things together. That's going to be interesting. But also, you can't be having, well, there's only one person I know who can have an everyday adventure. But for the rest of us plebeians, for those of us who live kind of normal lives, you have work, you have things you have to do, adult responsibilities, you can't be traveling and partying and water skiing every single day of the week. So how do you stay interesting in that time? This is where your social skills come in. Because if you learn how to lead a conversation well, you can talk about anything at all, and it's going to sound interesting to her. I feel like my camera is off center a little bit. Let's try moving it over some. Okay. There we go. All right, now I feel more centered. Right. So, you need to be working on your conversation skills. You need to be improving your ability to talk about different subjects, about anything in the world, and to keep it interesting. If you want a great example of somebody who's able to do this well, then check out some of Joe Rogan's stuff. Maybe not the things that he's doing now, because now, like, it's already well established and he just kind of lets the other people talk, but some of his older material from years before, when he was doing a lot of the conversation, where he was doing a lot of the heavy lifting. And what you'll notice is that he's able to talk about a lot of different subjects and keep them interesting. He's able to keep the viewer focused, and the person he's talking to, who he's interviewing or just having a conversation with, he's able to keep them focused and interested. He's able to ask the important questions that let them explain things, and then he's able to dig a little bit deeper. He calls them out sometimes if he doesn't agree with them. This is all great conversation technique. So, in terms of being interesting all the time, which you don't really get days off with this. That's why it's important to cultivate that personality. But in terms of being interesting all the time, developing your social skills and your ability to carry on a conversation for a long period of time is critical. Like I said, you don't get any days off with this. So you want to develop this whole personality. You want to practice this so that it becomes second nature for you, so that you're not having to try and work to make a conversation happen. I know that feeling because I've been there before, when you're talking to a girl and you're like, I want to keep talking, but I don't know what to talk about. And so I'm kind of forcing a conversation. And that's what you don't want, because everybody can tell when that's happening. And you're going to lose their interest quickly when you're trying to do that. Instead, you develop the personality of someone who is able to carry on long conversations, be interesting for a long time. Now, how about being attractive? How can you be attractive to her? Well, you can take interest and you can turn it into attraction. This is something that I talk about a lot inside of the Girlfriend Accelerator course. If you guys haven't checked that one out yet, go to realjacknorth.com and you can see the inside of the course and get a feel for it. I think it's absolutely worthwhile. And one of the things that I teach you in there is how to turn interest into attraction. You can use the interest that you're generating in the first part of this, in your conversations, in your activities, and the things that you're doing together, and you can turn that into attraction. This is crucial because if you don't do that, then you're just friends. If she finds you interesting, she loves being around you, but she's not attracted, then you're just friends. And that is not how you get a girl to fall in love with you. There must be attraction. And you can develop that attraction by taking that interest and turning it into something more. The final aspect of this, to keep our equation solid, is entertainment. She needs to be having fun with you. Even when nothing's happening, even when you're not doing anything, it should still feel like fun to her. Now, you can do this by practicing your humor, like I've told you about before. If you're not sure about how to practice your humor, check in the past live streams. There's a whole lesson I did in there about how to develop your humor, how to get good at telling jokes. I even wrote down the formula for you and all the different parts that you can put together to make jokes. You need to be practicing your humor. You need to be making her laugh. You need to be leading the conversations and the situations and whatever in a fun, unexpected way. Unexpected is the most important thing. If it becomes routine, if the way that you act, the things that you do becomes routine, then it's not entertaining. Then it's just a pattern. And patterns are boring as hell. But something that breaks the pattern, something that interrupts the pattern, something that changes what she was expecting, it subverts her expectations. That is interesting. That is entertaining. And that is attractive. Boys, cut that shit out. Simba, come here. Simba, come here. Come here. You want to come up here? You want to come up here? Come here. Come here, buddy. Come here. Come. Okay. Simba wants to come say hi. He doesn't like not getting the attention. So, like I said, with these things, over a long period of time, this is how a girl will fall in love with you. And it doesn't have to be that long. I would say that if you're doing this well, a girl can fall in love with you in probably a couple of months, maybe even less if you're really burning the candle at both ends and meeting up every single day or something like that. You can rush this along if that's what you want to do. Be careful though. Be careful that it actually is what you want to do. Subverting expectations, the Hollywood buzzword. Yeah, but it's also true, and it's what works. It's what gets people's interest. Usually, if you sleep with her, she falls in love. Kind of. That's definitely part of it, Coot. But these days, that's not nearly enough to guarantee love, right? Like, you think those girls on Tinder are in love with every guy they hook up with? Not even close, man. Not even close. So if you want to actually make her fall in love, you can't just rely on, well, I fucked her. That's enough, right? That's not going to do it. Let's move on to the next part though. Push and pull. You're going to create desire by pushing and pulling. Now, this is something that our poor friend in the Discord chat, JJ, said he was having some trouble with, was that he was pushing, but there wasn't enough pull. He wasn't bringing it back. You want to create a push-pull dynamic where you are both, boys, stop, where you are physically, where you are emotionally, where you are mentally, like a wave, bringing her back and forth and into your space and then out of your space, where you're paying attention to her and then you're not, and then you're cooling off, where you are right up there with her and you're really engaged to you're not. This doesn't mean to try and it's a difficult concept to explain because a lot of guys will take this to an extreme and say, okay, cool. Well, yesterday I paid attention to her, so today I'm just ignoring her and I'm going to, just completely read all of her messages and not reply to any of them. That's not what this is. That's not the push and pull. The push and pull is you're giving her something and then you give her the space to give back to you. It's more like a dance than it is like a hard equation that you must follow. Like sometimes I see guys talking about you should only send her one message for every 3 that she sends you. And like, it's an okay rule of thumb to follow, but if you're trying to make her fall in love with you through these hard mathematical things, it's not going to work because it's not real to human nature. So you need to be pushing and pulling. You need to bring her in and then back away and let her do her thing. Let her do her part of the dance as well. Understand that women really enjoy the seduction process. They aren't good at it. They are genuinely not good. Why? Because women don't have to learn game. Because they don't have to learn any of this stuff to be able to find a boyfriend, to get laid, to even get married. They don't have to do any of this. So they don't know what they're doing. They're newbies, but they enjoy it. So give her the space, let her do her parts as well. Like I said, it's like a dance. You can lead, but you still need to give her the space to do her part. That's the push and the pull. You want to lead her and then let her come back. This also goes for, like I said, for attention. If you're paying too much attention to her, if you're worried about her all the time, if you're always texting her first, if you're always, oh, good morning. Oh, how are you doing? Oh, that sucks. Oh, yeah. Oh, tell me more about that. Like, if you're giving her all of your time and energy and effort, why? Because that's a lot of push, but there's no pullback, right? You're not doing other things. It's going to make you seem like you are giving everything and you demand nothing, you ask for nothing, and you have nothing better going on in your life. This is a really important point for guys to understand. Women do not think of themselves as the best thing in the world. Even the ones who act like they do, they actually don't. They have pretty poor opinions of themselves most of the time. So, with that in mind, if you think that the best thing for you to do all day long is to only talk to her and only think about her and only give her all of your attention, forget work, forget hobbies, forget friends, forget everything else. The most important thing to you is this flawed, broken individual. Where does that put you? What does that say about your life? About your ability to create a good world around you? It doesn't speak highly of it, does it? And it necessarily puts you below her in her mind as well as in yours. You do not want that. That's too much push, not enough pull. She needs to be working just as hard to get you as you are working to get her. That's why it's important to create that interest and attraction early on so that she wants to push back whenever you push a bit and then you pull back and she wants to pull or push and follow along with you. This is why, because she's interested, because she's attracted, because she's entertained. Are you not entertained? If she is, she wants to come with you. You can lead the relationship this way to help deepen it for her. You need her to get invested in the relationship in order for her to fall in love. The way for her to get invested in it is to actually do things in it, not doing things with you, not coming along for the ride, but actually doing her part in the relationship. That's the push and the pull. That's the two sides to it. You use that to create desire. Because once she's invested, once she's putting in her time, her energy, her effort, her money, then she wants it more. Because the more invested she is, the more she thinks it's a good idea. And so she should invest more in you, more of her resources. As she does that, she's going to desire you more and get deeper and deeper and deeper into your world that the two of you are building together. This is how she goes through the process of falling in love with you. Next, embrace the masculine, allow the feminine. This is kind of a follow-up to the push and pull. You need to, and I'm not talking about the masculine that you find on YouTube with all these red pill, oh yeah, smoking cigars and drinking whiskey. And I'm not talking about that kind of clickbaity bullshit. I'm talking about your actual masculine energy, which means essentially your ability to lead, to stand up for things, to say things that you want, to say things that you mean. to not be afraid to talk about things, to do things, to lead her, and to take responsibility for all of the interactions. Yes, all. You are responsible for all interactions that you have with her. This is super important to understand because a lot of guys are terrified of making decisions, of committing to things, of being decisive, of being strong leaders. They're afraid of it because they think to themselves, oh, well, but what if she doesn't like it? Then she'll blame me for the bad experience. Okay, that's true. You're right. But here's the thing. If you don't choose, she's still going to blame you. So no matter what happens, she's going to blame you for the outcome even if she chooses what to do. Like, so for example, a restaurant. If you suggest this restaurant, she doesn't like it, she's going to blame you for it. That's true. Well, if she suggests a restaurant and she doesn't like it, she's still going to blame you. And if you suggest a restaurant and she likes it, she's going to give you credit. The only way that you don't get blamed for things is if she chooses something and she likes it, then she's going to give herself credit and she's going to blame you still for not having the sense to actually make that decision. You need to embrace your masculine side, own your situation, whatever your situation is. I don't care what it is. You have to own it. You have to embrace it fully and you have to lean into it. You need to learn to be decisive, learn to be a strong leader, learn how to communicate clearly and effectively so that you can tell her what it is that you're thinking or what it is that you're feeling or make your suggestions or anything like that. It is not unmasculine, amasculine. I don't know. It's not unmasculine to have emotions and to show those things. It is unmasculine to bitch about them or to dump them or to expect someone else to clean up your situation for you or to make things better for you. That is not allowed. But leaning on someone for support, using someone to vent to, absolutely. You can do that all you want. But you need to embrace your masculine side. This is crucial because she is going to, the stronger you are, the more masculine you are, the more feminine she is allowed to be. A lot of guys complain and they bemoan the current state of modern women and they say, oh, women today, they're so masculine and they're so, take charge and bossy and this and that and the other thing. That's true. I agree with you completely. However, there's a reason for it. And you're not going to like it. The reason women act this masculine is because men aren't. The men aren't stepping up to the plate. The men aren't taking the proper masculine leadership roles. You must do that in your relationship because when you embrace your masculine side, that takes the pressure off of her. Now she doesn't have to be masculine because you're doing it for the both of you. That allows her to be feminine. That allows her to show more of her feminine side and to embrace that more. The only way she can do that is if you are embracing your masculine side. That is what allows her femininity to blossom. This pairing of the masculine and the feminine energy is crucial for developing the kind of relationship that's going to lead to actual love. The more that you are able to embrace that side of yourself, the more she is able to embrace the feminine side of herself, and she will thank you and respect you and love you for that, for allowing her to be feminine in the way that she naturally wants to be. Next. This is a fun one, huh? Emotion is more important than logic, especially for the girls. So you gotta take her on the roller coaster. You need to focus not on explaining to her why things are fun or why they're interesting or why they're entertaining or any of that stuff. You need to focus on her emotion. How do you make her feel? This is going to be the most important thing because women don't act on logic or on reason. And to be entirely honest, most men don't either. But That's not the point. The point is the emotion and how she feels is the most important thing. This is especially true at the beginning and at the end of Coot, I'll get to you in a minute. This is important at the beginning and the end of any interaction, because what women will remember, they won't remember the words that you say, they won't remember most of the things that you do, but they will remember how you made them feel, especially at the very beginning when you first see them, and at the very end whenever an interaction is finishing. It doesn't matter if this is the first time that you're ever meeting each other. It doesn't matter if this is your 50th date or whatever. Unimportant. The beginning and the end are the only things that matter. How she feels at that time is crucial. That's what she's going to remember, and that's what she's going to walk away with. Now, in the middle is where you get to go on the roller coaster. This is where you get to make her happy, and then you get to make her angry, and then you get to tease her, and then you get to make her feel special, and then you get to make her feel disappointed, and then you get to make her feel all of these different things. I've explained to you a lot of the skills about how to control emotions, how to lead conversations, to create certain reactions. But during your interaction, you take her on the roller coaster and you make sure that you leave with her feeling good, with the relationship deepening, her getting more into it. Emotion is greater than logic. That's very logical. Yes, I know. And I wrote it out that way on purpose because that's how my brain works. And I know that for a lot of you guys are very analytical. And so this makes sense to you. You need to focus on the emotion of it, on how she feels. Even if objectively she had a great time, she saw the movie that she wanted to do, that she wanted to see. You went skating. You had good drinks. You did this and that thing. You paid for the stuff. You took her out. You indulged her silly whims. If she walks away not feeling it, none of that matters. None of that matters. It's unfortunately, it's not a scorecard. It's not a thing where you can add up the positives and say, right, well, look, everything was great, but then there was this one negative. It doesn't matter. If that's what she feels, then that is all that matters, and none of the positives matter at all, because how she feels is the only thing she's going to remember. If you focus on making sure that she feels good, and I don't mean happy. You can, like I said, you can play with the roller coaster. You can do all sorts of stuff with feelings and emotions. But if she feels good about the interaction, if she walks away saying, wow, that was a lot of fun, man, I can't wait to do that again. Remember our initial equation, right? Which is she has more fun with you and enjoys her time with you more than anything else. Anybody else, any other activity, you are the best thing. How does she do that? Does she objectively draw out a list of pros and cons? No, of course not. It's all about how she feels. And if you can lead her emotions, lead your interactions in a way that always leaves her wanting more and saying, wow, that was awesome, I can't wait to do it again, then you've done it right. Progressively over time, stop it. Progressively over time, as you have more of these good interactions, and her brain starts to notice the pattern. Oh, every time that I hang out with Papa Jack, it's the best time of my life. I need more of that. Give me more, give me more, give me more, Jack. Great. That also makes it easier for her to push pull, for her to embrace the feminine, for her to be interested, be attracted, desire you more. Do you see how all of these things are fitting together, right? So the more often that happens and the longer this pattern persists, the more she falls in love. This is what it is that she decides, I want to be with him more than anything else, because you're basically feeding her brain algorithm, right? You're feeding her brain algorithm saying, look, every time you hang out with Papa Jack, it's the best time of your life. Oh, you always have so much fun. Even when you're not doing anything, it's still a lot of fun. He's really cool. Wow, he's so funny. Oh, he's so interesting. Oh, so what if he has a beer belly? We're not paying attention to that because we're only focused on the positives. Girls are literally blind. Yeah, cut that shit out. Girls are literally blind to either the positives or the negatives, depending on how they feel. If they feel great about the interaction, there are no negatives. If they feel bad about the interaction, there are no positives. It doesn't matter. She's gonna have one of them. You need to learn how to control that and lead it correctly so that she leaves feeling great about spending time with you. The last thing, this is the fun one. Vitamin D. You need to be giving your girl the dick as much as you can. She needs those vitamin D injections, my man, and you need to be delivering in the bedroom. You need to absolutely be knocking it out of the park. If you don't know how, if you're inexperienced, that's fine. There are plenty of courses out there. If you're interested, one of my buddies, Will, runs one called School of Squirt. I've heard great things about his course. That's an interesting one. I haven't been through it myself, but if you feel like you need help in the bedroom department, that's a place to start. There are all sorts of other things. There's a book that one of our community members recommended called The Sex God Method. There are plenty of books and courses out there to teach you how to do this stuff if you don't know how to do it. That's okay. There's nothing to be embarrassed about, but you do need to learn how, and you do need to be giving her the vitamin D that she so desperately needs, because not only does it feel great, not only is it a lot of fun, but also it creates a much stronger bond. It creates a physical bond, yes, of course. It also releases chemicals in her brain that tie her to you, her pair bonding mechanism, assuming that she hasn't broken it through excessive use of Tinder and of hanging out with Papa Jack in the wrong bars at the wrong times. Then this is going to work to help her feel closer to you, to help her develop that love feeling. The love chemical for her, for women, releases during sex. So you absolutely need to be giving her the vitamin D. That is how you make a woman fall in love with you. All of these things all fit together. And it's crucial for you to learn how to do these things, especially controlling interactions, controlling emotions, developing interest, turning the interest into attraction, which, like I said, if you want more detailed lessons on any of this stuff, you can find it inside of the Girlfriend Accelerator course at realjacknorth.com. Go over there. Or if you want some personal advice from me, maybe you're thinking to yourself, Jack, this all sounds great, but I'm not sure how I can apply this to my life, to my situation. No problem, because you can book a free call with me right now, and you can talk with me. I will give you advice on exactly what it is you need to do. I'll help you create a personalized plan for no matter where you are, no matter what your experience level is with women, no matter what's going on in your life. I will help you create the right plan of action to meet your dating goals and help you find the girl or girls of your dreams. Go over to realjacknorth.com, hit the button to sign up for a free call, or hit the button to get the Girlfriend Accelerator video course and get started right away. With all that said, it's time to bring in our panel. Here we go. Coming in from California, we got the kid. Coming in from the other side of Seoul, we got Julius. And all the way out from Norway is Paul. How you boys doing?
Good.
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it looks like we lost Julius there for a minute. Whatever. He'll be back. They all come back. Cheers, boys. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Cheers.
What are you drinking today, Paul? What you got?
Drinking Coke.
Coke. So fancy.
I know.
So responsible. Isn't it like 3 p.m. for you?
Yep.
Right. Oh, by the way, great news for you guys and for everybody who's watching the stream, Rich is getting in tomorrow, and so we're getting started as soon as he lands. That's also why he can't be here with us tonight, sadly. So let's jump into. Oh wait, he's back.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know what's going on. It's not letting me use my camera or anything. Oh, there we go.
Okay, there you are.
Piece of shit. Sorry for the negativity, gentlemen. It's just Kakao has to make it. It has to use its own browser that nobody asks for or wants to use.
Oh
So-
yeah, that thing is so annoying, isn't it?
It's so bad. It's so bad. But the good thing is I'm here after kind of fiddling around with it. So yeah, good stream, man. I really like what you talked about.
Awesome. Coot asks, when is the party on Saturday? For those of you who are in Korea, come to Seoul this Saturday. We are rocking hard. We're celebrating my birthday. Also, Rich is coming in for the party. He's flying in from Thailand for this party. So is Sid. So come to Corner Pub on Saturday. I'll be there in Hongdae from about 3 p.m. on. And we're going to be having some food first. We're going to be kind of hanging around, mall ratting around Hongdae for a bit. And then when Corner Pub opens up at 7, that's when shit's really going to start flying off. So if you guys are in Korea, make it to Seoul this weekend. It's the weekend to make it. And shoot me a message in either the Discord or on Kakao, and I'll let you know where we are at the time. So, Coot, to answer your question, all day. From about 3 p.m. on, I'll be going. So,
Yeah, happy overdue birthday.
huh?
Happy overdue birthday.
Hey, thanks, buddy. I appreciate
Before I forget.
it.
Yeah, happy late birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Well, the kid actually got to talk to me on my birthday, but unfortunately that day I was busy all day long, and so I couldn't do anything. But yesterday I went out with the pool team and they got me some birthday drinks. I might still be a little bit drunk, and it's been, well, a whole day. But let's not dwell on that. Let's keep focused on our topic. The kid. What's our first question for today?
Yeah. So I know Jack talked about a lot about kind of like that formula to make them fall in love, right? So I'm curious when it comes to the long-term relationships, right? Both for Jack and the rest of the guys on the panel, what are some like rules you guys follow to like if you want to make sure it's successful, like personally?
I mean, I just laid all my rules out. I'm gonna let you guys field this one first.
Oh man. Yeah, I think you pretty much covered a lot of that. I don't know, like, what do you mean by rules regarding having a girl fall in love or avoiding girls you don't want to date?
I would say both of like, let's say you really want, like you go out the day and you really want her for like a long-term relationship, like what are some of the rules you follow?
If she's someone I want to spend a long time with, and I don't want to waste time or have like a fling or anything like that, I see if there's anything I might have a complaint about her, right? So I want to make sure that like, she's not overly offended. She's not, someone who is browsing BuzzFeed or the equivalent of that today, all day. Someone who like say I for some reason meet this person online, if she has anything that's like activism as one of her hobbies, I'm like, of all the things you could put on there, you put some sort of activism, even if I agree with it. It's just like of all the things, like you put your free time into something that exhausting. How about something more interesting and something that says more about your character in a more fun and positive and good way for a relationship, right? Like my idea of fun isn't going on some parade of sorts about some social issue, right? That's on a Saturday in the middle of July. That's not what I do, right? And I think most people agree that's not something that that you guys would have an interest in, or women as well. So I mean, I would rather meet someone who probably has a completely different interest than me and is willing to show me something like a sort of dance that I've never done before, or a sport I've never been involved in, or better yet, if we have certain sports in common that we like I love swimming, she loves that too. Good. So I try to stay away from people who are too much into activism, all sorts of stuff like that. It's a major turnoff, and it just says that the person's probably going to be very exhausting, regardless of whichever spectrum they're on, right? Marilyn Monroe quotes, those are really funny. If they can't think for themselves, that's not going to do it for me. I think a healthy indicator of someone who is very good for a long-term relationship is someone who actually shows genuine interest in the things you do. So I'm I dated someone who asked me what I was doing. I was like, oh, I'm watching this YouTube video on what? Speed running. What's that? And I explained to her what it was. And she was like, wow, that's really cool. Can you send me a link? That's amazing. Wow, people actually do that. That is awesome. Wow. What do you? Yeah. So I was like, really? You're not teasing me right now, are you? That's the kind of stuff you want to find in a person. Someone who shows interest in the things you don't think they'll show interest in. If you find something like that, you're golden. Because it shows that they're open to learning about you just as you are learning about them and getting to the things. So that way you guys mesh together really well and create some wonderful memories, which, create a far more healthy relationship.
For sure.
Yeah.
There is another thing that I agree very much with what you say. So for most people, at least the people that have done the course, most of those guys probably have done the exercise of defining your perfect woman. Like, make your list. What are absolute must-haves? What are want-to-haves? And what are absolute no-nos? Rule number 1, they have to fit the bill. And then once you get started, as Julius mentions, that they do have genuine interest in what you do is for the most part very important. I can though tell you, my girlfriend has absolute no interest when I'm playing games. That is just absolute what the fuck. But that's my thing, right? That's my little escape. Other than that, I would say the last kind of sanity check on it is definitely have some good buddies you can introduce her to kind of tear her apart, just to figure out, okay, who is this person?
Yeah.
So unless they survive a never have I ever with Jack, they're not the person for you.
That's absolutely true. Yeah. If she could play Never Have I Ever with Jack, then she's good to go. And I've brought some people around Jack who they either loved it or they hated it, right? And the ones that hated never lasted very long.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Because you have to have someone that can check, okay, can this person survive around my friends? Do they know how to handle themselves? Do they get pissed because Jack is the way Jack is? Because some people get that way too.
Yeah.
Right. And you need some buddies to check it out and kind of get the rubber stamp on, okay, this girl is good.
Yep.
Yeah. It's extremely, I think that's one of the most important things. I can't believe I forgot. To kind of get a separate pair of eyes and an opinion and a minds to just kind of tell you that you're not blinded by vagina, or that you guys love swimming or whatever. That they can tell you, okay, she's cool, or no, she's kind of crazy, or yeah, I mean, you're not going to date her long term, are you? It's important to have this input. And a good source is, of course, very close friends, brothers.
Yeah. If you have a brother, you can definitely trust your brother, your friends as well. Yeah, get a different perspective, like Coot's saying. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's kind of the important bit here, is that you need to. Pussy blindness is very real, where you're just like, I don't care. I'm getting my dick wet. That's all that matters to me, right? But having some friends be like, right, okay, cool, good, keep doing that, but maybe keep your options open a little bit. Yeah. Friends' approval is important. It sucks when you never see your friends again because he gets a girlfriend who locks him away. Yes, that's exactly right, X2 Crow. And I was just about to mention that. You don't want you don't want your girl and your friends to be at odds with one another. She should, even if she doesn't like hanging around them, she should absolutely like that you spend time with them and not try to keep you away from them, right? Like Lady North doesn't like hanging around my friends, not because she doesn't like them. She loves my friends, but she knows that every time we get together, we're going to go get drunk and be stupid fucking gorillas. Okay, yeah, that's true. And so she doesn't want to be around for that. I totally understand it. But also, she doesn't say, like, now, you can't hang out with them, or, well, you have to be home by 11, or like stupid shit like that. Because she also understands how important it is for me and for them and for everything else, right? Like, you should be able to have your girl and your friends get along, and she should know how to handle herself in those social situations. Another thing to look out for if you're vetting a girl for a long-term relationship is, how does she act when she gets mad? Because this is going to happen. She is going to get mad. And if she's the kind of person who, as soon as something pisses her off a little bit, she starts like throwing plates or something at you, run for the hills, right? Like, look, these are the kinds of crazy bitches who are going to beat the shit out of you and then call the police and say that you beat them, right? Like, get out of there. Anybody who thinks that violence is the answer and that's what they jump to immediately, you don't want to be around that. And you don't want to subject yourself to situations like that. How a girl acts when she gets mad or when she feels insulted or offended or whatever else tells you a lot about her as a person. And that's the important thing to pay attention to when moving forward into a longer term relationship.
Last thing is actually try to figure out more about her family and the relationship she has with the family.
Mm-hmm.
Because people growing up in unstable homes tend to be quite the same if you ever move in together.
Yeah.
Or like, so having a like at least fundamental understanding of the background she has,
Sure.
how she was raised, how does her parents interact, because most of the way she knows how to react is mimicking how they react when they
Yeah.
were in the same situations.
Yeah.
It's the
So
only
you
thing
can
she
actually
knows.
figuring it out without actually having to piss her off.
Sure.
Absolutely. Families, you need to look into that. If her parents are divorced, which is not an irregular thing, that's probably okay. But if she has an extremely poor relationship with one of her parents, or
Especially with her
siblings,
father.
and in a lot of trouble for whatever reason, look into that. Yeah.
Yeah, the way that a girl has a relationship with her father, that is going to be fundamental to her in your relationship, because that's basically how she's had a relationship with a man in her life so far, and that's the most fundamental one. So the same way that they say you can tell how a man is going to treat his wife by how he treats his mother, and the same thing is true for her relationship with her father. If she's deferential, if she's kind, if she's respectful, if she's loving and caring towards her father, that's a good sign. If she's always fighting with him, and if they never get along, and or they're just not on speaking terms or whatever, like, it's a big red flag. It's a big red flag. I'm not saying that there aren't times when it's justified, of course, right? But it's a red flag that you should look out for. Let's go on. The Kid, what do you have for us next, buddy?
Yeah, so you mentioned to make sure to have like the push-pull dynamic to keep it like interesting. So over the long term, how do you like not get lazy and make sure you keep that up?
That's the really hard part.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it is, but that's why I was talking about not trying to like fake it till you make it or something like that. You develop the type of personality that naturally does this. You become the person who goes in hard, that shows a lot of interest, and then also can pull back and be like, okay, so what you got for me, right? You can do both, and you need to practice that so that it becomes second nature to you, so that even things like how you treat her for her birthday is how you want her and you expect her to then reciprocate for your birthday, even if it's not the same, but like in kind, right? To keep that interest and to keep that push-pull going can be difficult, but when it becomes more natural for you when you practice it more, when you do it more. It's not as hard to keep up as it may seem. Now, scheduling is something that you can use to help you a lot with that as well. So in my particular case, right, with Lady North, how do I keep from paying too much attention to her? Well, I fill most of my day with things to do, right? I have a lot of stuff going on, even, running these streams every week, right? Or editing videos, or making this stuff, or teaching these private classes, or boot camps, or going out and playing pool, whatever else that pulls me away from her. But then also, whenever I do see her and I spend time with her, I push in hard and I go hard at it. So you can create basically an artificial push-pull on that. So X2 Crow is saying, handling push-pull with university students is something I'm having trouble with. I want to give them space and not push too hard when they're working 24/7 at the cost of losing them to someone they go to school with. Yes, I get what you're saying, but if you're the most interesting, attractive, and entertaining person to her, to what she's looking for, and if you're controlling the interactions well so that every time she hangs out with you, it's the best time of her life, and you're giving her that vitamin D injection regularly, you don't need to worry too much about losing her. You need to let the space stay open, and then push back, and then pull, and then push. You can work with that regardless of, like, they're in university or they're working or they're doing anything else. The most important thing to make the push-pull work is that when you pull away, she wants more. And she should want more if you are being interesting, if you are attractive, if you are making sure that she always enjoys her time with you, right? Like all of these other things that I talked about. You shouldn't be worried about that empty space. If you're worrying about that, that means that you're not doing a good enough job on the other fronts. Sorry, what do you guys think about how to keep a push-pull dynamic going?
Definitely agree with the statement. Like, one of the things you will notice pretty fast is that her attraction for you, even if you don't push pull, will go in cycles. I've actually learned, the longer I've lived with my partner, the more I realize that this is true. That you can almost measure it on her menstrual cycle when she will be most clingy, right? So you will get to this habit of, okay, these weeks is when she really needs me, these is when she don't, but then you become kind of boring. So what is important is to regularly do stuff together. However, you should also have things that are your own things, so that you have things that kind of pulls you away from being able to spend time together.
Yeah.
Because that creates a natural back and forth where sometimes you're spending a lot of time, then sometimes you're not. So I think that's a very important thing. And then, of course, being a generally outgoing person in general, like if you are a person that are genuinely busy in your life, it's very easy. You generally might be more on the pull side or push side, simply because your schedule is hectic. Sometimes that girls have to respect that, and the hardest thing is if you're in the start of the relationship, we're always available, and then all of a sudden your schedule is caught up with you and now you're busy all the time, then you're gonna probably lose them. So it has to be a balance to it. So the best thing to do is just to get busy from the start, and then make sure that you maintain your habits and hobbies whenever you go into a relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with all that stuff. The kid, what's on next, big guy?
Yeah, so I would say then, when you are kind of, along the same theme, let's say in that long-term relationship, right? Um, I know maybe Julius and Paul can't speak on this, but at least for Jack, like at one point did you realize like it was like the right one for you? Or like how do you make that kind of decision? And at least for Julius and Paul, like how do they think they'll be making that decision?
I have this. I think it's a quote from somewhere, but I can't remember who actually said it first. After 6 months, a guy will know whether he wants to marry the girl or not, because we are quite simple creatures. Let's be honest. Uh, at some point, you just get to the point that okay, this feels right.
Mm.
Now let's just double check that everything kind of matches the expectations. Like you start living together, see how that goes. In some cultures, living together before you get married is out of the question. While, for example, here in Norway, living together before you get engaged is like almost absolutely mandatory. Uh, and it makes sense, right? Because it makes sense to see that you can actually coexist together too. Because being in a relationship and when you go into that marriage part, you're not only dating anymore, you actually coexist in life. Like you share everything. And to do that, you need to know that you don't pee on the floor when you're not home, right? So kind of makes sense like that, and then after a while it just becomes okay, this is probably like at this point it's a person that I could see myself being married to for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Because then you see all their habits. You get basically it's the last kind of round where you check your list, because now you see whether okay, are the connections still there? Is it still exciting? Uh, and then you kind of get to the point where okay, I can accept all your flaws, I really like all the upsides, okay, let's do this.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. Honestly, to answer you quite frankly, the kid, all the things that we've mentioned before were very important to me. But by the time that I met Lady North, I already knew what green flags I was looking for, and I knew all the red flags to watch out for, and I knew how to test for those things as well.
Mm.
And like with the friends thing, for example, right? Like, man, I brought her out. It was like the second day we met, and I brought her out to St. Patrick's Day with all of my friends, where we proceeded to get shit hammered all day and all night long. And she like hung out, and she's like, "Okay, this is weird. Is this normal? This can't be normal." But she was cool. She was patient. She was nice to all my friends. She was congenial, and then she put up with all of our stupid bullshit and then made sure that I got home okay in a taxi, right? Like that was basically a huge shit test on my part that I was doing to her, and she passed. So if you know what you're looking for, if you actually do have a clarity of purpose that we've talked about before, if you've been through the Girlfriend Accelerator course and you've created your foundation document and you know what it is that you're looking for, you know what the types are, you know what the traits are. If she matches those things and she doesn't have any of those big red flags, like I said, like violent tendencies when she gets angry, or she's so clingy that she won't let you see your friends or talk to your family or something stupid, then like you're set, right? There's the romantic storybook Disney bullshit version of like the one. There's someone out there for everyone, but that's not actually true, right? The reality is there are people who you are able to tolerate their flaws and their shortcomings, and then there are people who are able to tolerate your bullshit, and where those overlap is that's your sweet spot, and you just find someone who fits the things that you're looking for and who has that overlap where you accept their shortcomings and they accept yours. And then, yeah, you're done. You're done. That's it. You win.
Yeah, and I think the older, like the more girls you date and like the more relationship you're in, And also it comes with age too, because it's kind of a maturity thing. Like at one point you know everything, and it goes faster and faster to see whether this is going to be a 6 month relationship or if it's going to be a 6 year relationship. Like it goes so much faster now than when I started, like back in like dating back in college and university years. Then I was like, okay, I have no idea where this is going, but it's fun for now.
Mm.
But as you get older, like you start dating with the purpose of finding a partner, right? And then it becomes so much clearer, so much faster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's exactly why the very first thing that I have guys do in the Girlfriend Accelerator course and in my personal coaching is we create that foundation document. Because if you don't know what you're looking for and you're like, I don't know, let's just find someone who'll touch my boner, then like, okay, well, just you're gonna fall into shit relationships that way. Absolutely. So clearing up what it is that you're looking for and why you're looking for it makes all the rest of it so much easier and so much faster, like Paul was saying.
Mm. And what I did exactly what you said. Like I did the foundation document, I did all of these things, and I actually created two. So I created one for the perfect partner and one set of criteria for, okay, these people can touch my dick while I'm waiting to find the one, right?
Yeah.
And then you just, because then you know instantly when you start dating someone which category they go into.
Yeah.
Like whether or not these are a potential partner or this is just, okay, this girl goes into the
The
harem
slut
for a
bucket.
while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slut bucket.
The slut
Yeah.
bucket.
I think a good stress test I've used over the years is there's a classic, is this someone I would introduce to my mom? If the answer is simply no, then of course that's not the person you want to date. If it's yes, absolutely. That's someone you could build a relationship with and go in the long term, and that's never failed me once. Actually, yeah, it's never failed me once. Now, travel is my second one. Now, as Paul said, living together in most cultures, or if like you're, in Korea, maybe cohabiting right away, I don't know, it's a little harder than expect because you're both foreigners in a foreign country. Travel I think is a great, great, great shit test. Why? Because you're both together in a yet different place, very unfamiliar. You have to make a lot of spot calls, a lot of decisions on your own. One of you has to lead. Sometimes you'll mess up with like money, or you'll get shortchanged, or there might be a scammer, or there just might be a language barrier, or plans might not go accordingly, right? It's a real stress. So like, how would she react if things didn't go her way or things didn't go your way? How does she deal with all this stuff, or how does she deal with you, or how do you deal with her? And I think it's kind of like almost like a crash course on how to live together and how to deal with stressful situations that may arise in your future relationship. I've had some people fail miserably as a result. Shit, I've even failed miserably. Or I've traveled with people where things were wonderful, right? So to me, travel has always been like my tried and true one. If obviously the mom thing is like its own thing. So that's one I have with that.
Another big benefit to traveling together is that it's going to almost certainly require concessions from one or both of you at different points. You want to go to the beer brewery or whatever, and she wants to go to the art museum. Okay, well, we've only got time to do one of them. What are we going to do? How are we going to negotiate this? How are we going to make a decision of whose thing are we going to do? That's an important part of the relationship, is figuring out, is she willing to make concessions? Is she willing to compromise? Is she willing to negotiate things and say, okay, look, I'm not dead set on the art museum. We can go to the beer brewery, but then after that, I want to go to this place for dinner or something. Okay, cool. We can work with that. Figuring out how you guys work together and how you can compromise and make decisions as a single unit rather than as two people who want to do different things is important. Because like if Julius and I were traveling together and he wanted to go to this thing and I wanted to go to this thing, I'd be like, all right, cool, man. I'll see you back at 5. Yeah, like you go do your thing, I'll go do my thing, because we are two separate individuals. But like Paul was saying, you become one unit and you need to do the things together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can make suggestions and try to meet in the middle. It even starts from the moment you guys start purchasing tickets and booking hotels. You have to figure out what you want, where you want it, because you prioritize where you want to go and hang out and see and do things, right?
Sure.
Yeah, there's so much that travel makes you do. The compromising is really important. One thing I've done that worked really well last time I went traveling was because I think I was like in a week abroad somewhere, and I was like, hey, why don't we have like a day to ourselves, right? Like I go do and fuck off and do my own thing that doesn't involve a lot of drinking. You do your thing, shopping, girly stuff, and she was up for it, and she did it, and it was great because I don't want to go shopping. That's fucking boring. And I wanted to geek out in the anime and video game section in Japan.
Yeah.
She didn't want anything to do with any of that, right? She thought I was like the most weeb shit in the world. Of course. So it was very important to give ourselves at least one day or a block of time to where that would work. Now,
You went to a fucking maid cafe, didn't you?
oh yeah, I got my earwax taken out, and I'm joking. But like the thing is, it's important to just be like, if it's just that important to you, and what she's doing just is that important to her, and there's no way like you'll just follow her to do something like that, or she'll follow you to do that. By all means, yeah, suggest it. If she's completely against it and she's dragging you along to the fucking department stores over there, yeah, that's no good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another good way of figuring out, do you work together or not?
Mm-hmm.
Does that answer your question at all, the kid?
Yeah.
It's like a lot of things where we started out by being like, oh no, it's really simple. Also, here are 50 different things to think about.
50 different approaches by 3 different guys in totally different countries.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think they're all right answers. It's like a I don't know. It's like a deadlift, many different ways. But there's, if you screw up, it'll completely fuck up your body, right?
Yeah.
Or in this case, your relationship.
Yeah.
Cool. What's next?
That's it.
That's it. Awesome. Well then, for you guys in the audience, thank you for joining us. If y'all have any more questions that you want answered, you better get typing real fast if you want us to get to it, because I'm about to wrap up here otherwise. So, Paul, Julius, the kid, thank you for joining. And I will see you, Julius, this weekend. I'll be meeting Rich. Yeah, girlfriends equals deadlifts, right? Yeah, that's wonderful, isn't it? I'll be meeting Rich tomorrow night for some kind of pre-game drinking, but I have stuff to do on Saturday morning, so I can't get too fucked up tomorrow.
I'd like to see that.
Huh?
I'd like to see that.
Me not get fucked up?
In Hongdae? Come on.
Okay. I hear you. I understand. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, how fucked are you getting on Saturday?
9 p.m. taxi fucked.
Ooh, yeah, I mean we're right, because I'm probably still gonna have some residual alcohol left in me from Friday night, and then we're getting started pretty much straight away on Saturday. And so actually some of the girls who I invited to come out and join us on Saturday, by the way, Julius, you be on form, because there are lots of girls coming out to join. But some of them were asking me, they were like, okay, look, if I come, how fucked up are you going to be? And I was like, that's up to you, because it depends on what time you get there. If you show up at 3 p.m., I'll be fine. I'll be bright and chipper and ready to go. But if you show up at 10 p.m., Whew, you're gonna be in for some fun.
That's when the political rants begin.
Yeah, that's when now let me tell you something. I think the Luddites might have been fucking right. Okay, like Jesus. Yeah, no, I'm gonna get absolutely shit hammered. There's no chance I'm gonna remember the end of the evening. Are you gonna come out, Crow? I hope you're gonna be there. I know Coot's coming. You guys should come as well.
Yeah, I'm most certainly going for sure.
I'm still holding out hope that the kid is going to surprise me by hopping on a plane tonight or something like that. And he's just like, surprise, motherfucker, here I am.
You know, I was trying to convince a Norwegian friend out in Thailand who's been hanging out with Rich a lot to actually fly in time for your birthday so we could all hang out. Magnus, I think you know him.
Yeah. Magnus Magnuson.
Yeah, there you go. I was trying to get him to come out, but he's like, "Oh no, my thing or whatever." I was like, "Okay, whatever, I get it." But
sounds like vagina to me. Anyway, I will definitely see you guys this weekend, and Paul, the kid, I will try to send pictures or put things up on our Instagram or something of maybe like a progression of like, this is Jack at 3 p.m. This is Jack at 4 p.m. This is Jack at 5.
My only request is that Caesar sends me a picture of when he puts you in the taxi at 8:30.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna happen.
All right, so
hold on. Lady North, hold on. Okay, cool. Now you can go.
let's take some bets here. How long do you think I'm gonna make it before I get shoved into a taxi?
Dude, you always start early. You say 3 p.m., but you're gonna have residuals from the previous night, and you when you shower, you drink beers. So I give you to like
it's a weird
5
thing.
or
Shower
6.
beers are absolutely scientifically proven to make your day 10 times better.
They are great, but yeah, you're not gonna have a long day out.
Okay,
I say
let's
7 p.m.
Okay, 6 or 7.
Yep.
XQ Crow thinks I'm gonna make it till 10:30. What you think, Paul?
I'll base it off my previous experiences with you on days like that. Your birthday, Halloween, my birthday, all of these days. Since Rich is there, I think you are gonna hold longer because you usually do. For some reason, whenever Rich is around, you stay longer than you normally would. So my guess is you're gonna be in the taxi home between 11 and 12, or you are not coming home until the next day.
Okay, yeah.
Because that also happens.
Yeah.
Where Jack goes,
where
Jack is on his way into a taxi.
He'll pass out after. Coot says, last time your wife sent you home at 10:50. Okay, right. So last time I went out with you, Paul,
right? Have that thing where Jack says bye at 9:10 p.m. And then he calls me at like 6 in the morning. Where the fuck am I?
No.
No.
He found some Spanish
end.
people and sat drinking on a sea or something at 6 in the morning.
That was not the end.
And then we went out the day after.
And I was still out. And so that was Paul's last day here, his goodbye party. And we started that day at probably about 3 p.m., right? We started with the bottle of rum, I think it was. And we smashed through a whole bottle of rum before we even went to Hongdae. I got completely shit-faced. And then at like 9 o'clock, I was like, okay, Paul, I have to go home. Goodbye. And then I left. But then I got distracted by things. And I just started partying with more people. And I just kept going until finally I got home the next day at like 10 p.m. And let me tell you something. Lady North was fucking furious. My phone was dead the whole day too, right? And so she's like messaging me like she had just assumed I died, right? Because what else could it be?
Yeah. Holy crap.
That was quite a bender.
I remember, messaging you, and I would be like sporadically get messages. I was like, "Are you even home yet?" And you send like this weird shit. I'm like, I don't even know what's going on anymore.
Yeah, I have a couple of those chats, I think.
Yeah. I'm sure I could go back and look for them. Like, what the hell is he
Oh,
even
yeah.
talking about?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so my guess is 11-12 or something like that happens again.
Honestly, if I make it to 12, I'm gonna feel like I did a damn good job, man.
Yeah, no kidding. Like 12, that's like a pretty good night out, you know, with the
I
missus.
remember the first time the three of us went drinking.
Ugh. Wait, what
Everyone
happened that
remembers
night?
their
Or
first.
actually, I don't.
Yeah.
All of us blacked out from like 7 p.m.
Yeah. Send Jack home and he finds a friend on the subway. That's how I met Stallion, actually.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was going home from home day at like 7 a.m., absolutely shit faced. And I know there's a theme to my stories, right? And I saw this white dude on the subway and I was like, Whitey, I'm white too. Let's be friends. Hey. He's like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? I'm like, I don't know. I tried to fuck a girl in home day and I failed. So now I'm going home alone. Where are you going? And he's like, oh, I did the same thing. We both failed in the same place. Then we made friends on the subway because we were both going to the same stop. We lived in the same town. And I was like, okay, at the risk of sounding really fucking gay right now, you want to like go over to the CU, get some beers, and watch the sunrise? He's like, that is really gay. But yeah, I do. That sounds good. Okay, cool. And then we became best friends.
Yeah, I remember that. That was hilarious. And he's a great guy, so I'm glad you accidentally met him because he's one of my closest friends now.
Yeah. He's an absolute champion. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut off the live stream. Thank you guys for joining. As for the rest of you guys, I'll see you on Saturday. And for those of you who can't join this weekend, then I'll see you next week. Much love to all you players and catch you then. Papa Jack out.